LS just came pretty natural because I'm serious, dude. If you gave me like 6 months, I could train a monkey to take one apart.
Okay. Well, now we're live. So we just recorded about
All right.
20 minutes, 15 minutes or
20
so,
minutes.
And I never pressed record on the audio recorder. But okay, start over.
You want to do the intro?
Yeah, I'll try it this time.
All right.
Okay, so welcome to the #1 Drift Podcast on YouTube. I'm Dawson,
I'm Nathan.
and let's get into it. So, obviously, we know your name. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
My name's Nathan Sarton. I'm from Bell Buckle, Tennessee, and I have a 93 240 SX coupe. It's Rocket Bunny. I didn't even mention that before. That seems like everyone's big sticking point on my car.
No. There's a story to that, too, that we can maybe get into.
Yeah, I guess we could tell that to the dude. That'd be awesome if that got famous and she saw that. Anyway.
TikTok clips.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, it's a turbo 6-liter. It's the motor's from a van. The heads are from a truck. The turbo kit we made out of scrap laying around my house. I run GK Tech cut-to-length tie rod ends with modified pickup points on my hubs. And what else? It's got an ATI dampener on it, and I run a TR6060 Z01 transmission. Everything else is pretty much plain. I have a...
Wait, the transmission, that was the same one you've always had in it?
No, so I had an LT transmission. For those that don't know, they made 2 different generation Camaros, and one of them came with a motor called an LT. There's a couple different numbers at the end, but an LT platform is what it's called. Then they made an LS, and so they share components from the bell housing back, but in front of that, there's 2 different bell housing, different clutch spacing, different input shafts, all that stuff. So we had one, and we swapped that. And I broke it in like 10 events because they're not good for like more than 400 horsepower, and obviously I'm making yeah, they're junk. And
it's
so
American.
I got a really good deal on a TR6060 transmission, which if anybody knows how much those go for, $1,300 is a crackhead deal. I couldn't beat it, so I did it, and
That's the truth.
I made my own transmission tunnel. Actually, now that I think about it, it's got a custom transmission tunnel in it.
Oh, yeah, that is right.
I forgot about that. And then, it's got a Injuku cage, and I run a Holley Terminator X with the Game Boy tune right now. So,
And doesn't the Terminators, they kind of self-tune in a sense, right?
yeah, it's a self-learning thing. I used to know how fast it did it. I can't really remember how fast now off the top of my head, but basically, if you have an LS and you pop one together, you can turn it on and put it in. If you know somebody that's tuned, you can put it in closed loop and it'll be fine, or you can leave it in open loop and the tune will get better and better compared to how it starts.
Oh, okay.
Excuse me.
That's better than my situation.
Yeah.
Sadly. But, well, for those of you that don't know, I have an RB25 swapped 350Z. I've been building it for about 2 years now. Drove it for 2 or 3 years, I think. On the VQ, tried blowing it up, would not blow up. And I got a killer deal on the RB with the factory 5-speed, NIS-tune ECU, and a factory harness, which I did not run anyways. But as you can tell, you'll get to know us a little bit better. But he's a little bit more American style, and I love Japanese stuff. So we will butt heads quite a bit.
For sure. For sure.
Definitely. So... So, as far as affording the cars, what do you do for a living?
I'm a salesman at Newton Nissan South. I've done a bunch of different jobs, so I've worked at that store for 11 years. So I've been there forever. I'm old.
Well, I actually work at the same exact dealership. I started off as a salesman, but most recently worked my way up to social media manager. I've gained our TikTok up to, I think, over 60,000 followers so far.
Is it really that high now?
Yeah, 60,000. And I
yeah.
posted one video the other day, which if any of you guys saw it, comment down below. But it was about how fast we've driven in whatever car we were in, and overnight, I posted it at about 4:30 in the afternoon, and I think I checked it at like 7 when I went to post the second video, and it was at like maybe 36,000 views or something like that. And I didn't really think anything of it. But I woke up the next morning on my way to work. I was just, as I usually do, nobody take note from this, but I am on my phone when I drive all the time. But
okay, I would never. I'm a Christian.
means nothing. But yeah, I was driving on the way, and I just opened it up to check and see what the views were, like I do every morning. And it had hit. Well, I didn't even notice that at first. I noticed that we had gained 6,000 followers just overnight, and I had no idea what it came from. So I went down and I checked, and it was that video, and it gained 1.4 million views overnight, which makes no sense to me. I mean, I have multiple other videos that have made over 1 million, 2 million, even my highest video is 3 million, but like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. TikTok is unreal with the way the algorithm is.
Yeah,
But which
I've done pretty good with it, just messing around. But yeah, I don't know how that stuff works.
He has absolutely no idea what he's doing as far as social media goes. But he's already gained himself up to 10,000 followers, which if you don't know on TikTok, once you hit 10K, you're considered a micro influencer. So you can actually start getting paid by TikTok for the amount of views you get. It's not really anything crazy, but I think it's like 2 cents every 1,000 views or something like that. So
I'm sure the IRS is going to get theirs. So
yeah, always, no doubt about that. So let's jump back onto kind of our taste in cars. So I'm more Japanese, of course. You're more American stuff, LS for the most part, almost all of it. But
yeah, I mean, I like Japanese cars. I mean, like, I like the R34. I like the Mark IV. I'm a car guy. I like cars in general. I feel like it was like probably 10 years ago, people started giving it like the name. It might even been longer than 10 years ago. Don't roast me in the comments. But it's like, oh, I'm JDM, or I'm only real wheels. And it's like all these weird labels that they put on stuff. It's just, I don't know. I never could get into that. If I saw a car and I liked the way that car looked, I was like, that's a badass car. But I never really thought more into the labels thing.
yeah,
LS just came pretty natural because I'm serious, dude. If you gave me like 6 months, I could train a monkey to take one apart. I'm not kidding. I really could, dude.
that is very true.
I'm serious.
LS motors are like ungodly easy to work on.
He has seen me do it.
How big of a motor it is, it looks complex as all hell,
No.
but it's just nuts and fucking bolts. Like, that's literally
It's
it.
so easy. I'm serious. Okay, so for example, I've showed my little sister and I've showed my girlfriend, and both of them are like, oh. Because
Yeah,
that's
it's building Legos.
everything about the LS is.
It's literally building Legos. That's it.
Yeah, it's all easy.
So, and for me, I obviously, like I said, I run an RB in mine, which is an RB25 DET. I think it's a Series 2. I may be wrong on that. I can't remember. But for the past 2 years, I've been building it. I stepped into that not knowing dog shit about it. Never done a swap in my entire life, and jumped right into an inline 6, which once I broke it down to the bare guts of it, it was literally just as simple as any other motor. It's just a straight fucking line. Like, there's not much to go off of.
I think it comes down to the personality differences, but the labels has made it weird for people because people want to be associated, like, because humans are like that. You want to be on a team.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
And the stance community has ruined that for the most part. This stemmed from you.
Yeah, that and takeover people, but
big time.
But I think that the reason that LSs came so easy is because growing up, I wasn't a drift person. I wasn't a drag racing person. I just liked cars. And so, like, everyone I knew that was real big into cars or real fast, it was like they all ran LSs. And so I learned really young on how to work on an LS. And so when I got old enough into my 20s to afford to build a car, I was like, I'm going to do an LS. That seems like that's what I know, you know? And the reason why I think that people associate both ways is because, like, you like to learn stuff. I don't like to learn stuff. I don't like to.
Okay, see, yeah, that's
I don't
where
like to learn new
so,
stuff. I just want to do the same thing and make it, and it needs to work and do the same thing I designed it for every time. It's like that scene in Iron Man. I designed this to come off. All my stuff needs to work like that. I don't want to change anything. I don't want to change my routine. I just want to do the same thing every time I go. And but then there's nothing wrong with people like you that want to learn new stuff. That's just for me. That's why I run that motor, is because it's just like, I don't have to think about it. I could be blind drunk and I could fix it.
Yeah.
You know?
And I like I've said to you all the time, if I I have absolutely no care in the world to run any type of competitions, at least as of right now.
Yeah.
So if for ungodly reason I have fuck you money in the future, so okay, so what? I'll run comp just to see what I can do. But for right now, all I care about is the style of it, the video aspect of it, the pictures, you know, getting as close as you can to the car next to you, having the same exact spray paint or paint job spray paint. But I didn't do that. Might as well have been spray paint. We spray painted it in your storage unit, or painted it, whatever. What was I saying?
You said you only care about the style, or not you only care about, but you mostly don't care about comp, that you mostly care about just the style of driving and the style of the car, whereas I'm more like performance oriented.
Yeah. So I care about the looks of it more than anything. I know there's a lot of you guys out there, but he cares more about just the power, the go fast. I want to be fast.
It's a tale as old as time, man. He likes the way stuff looks and the way it sounds, and I'm just like, haha, LS go whoosh. That's it. You know, that's all it is. You know, I'm just like it go burr. You know, that's all I care about.
And it sure does.
It does. It's pretty fast when it works.
Yeah, and back to what I was like I've always said to you. If I absolutely built a competition car, it would be LS. It just makes sense, especially being here in the States, because they're absolutely everywhere. You can get them out of a Yukon, a Sierra, a Tahoe, fucking...
You can get them at O'Reilly's for $500.
Even. You can get a 5.3 out of.
A head. You can get a head from O'Reilly's for $500. I've
like
done that. I lifted a head.
You can go to an O'Reilly's, which is at any point in time at least 10 miles away, less than that.
Yeah.
So you can go buy an entire fucking block, or you said a head.
Head. You can get a head. You could probably find I mean, dude, there's an LS guy from here to anywhere you can throw a rock. So you can probably find a motor if you were to pop
You
one
go on the Facebook Marketplace and type in LS.
Yeah, it'll come up.
One will pop up. It's for sale. They're everywhere. So they're just a convenience. And like Brennan Daniels, if any of you know them, drop it down below. But he told me a story one time where he was at Clutch Kickers and he kept having oil spit out of the dipstick, and it was because the filler neck was just one of the ones that was flat on the valve cover, and it didn't stick up a little bit. Literally went and grabbed it off of his buddy's Silverado. It was a 5.8 truck, I think, or not a 5.8, 4.8. 4.8
5.36 liter.
That's right. Not an LS guy. But it was a 4.8 Silverado. It had the taller filler neck that reached up, pulled that off, put it on the drift car, and it was good to go. Went the entire rest of the competition, threw it back on the truck, and they drove it home. Like, just the simple fact of stuff like that for an LS makes it much more convenient and easier, especially if you're getting up into the higher horsepower, higher risk competition, stuff like that.
And LS people know that they are plentiful, and so they are usually way more willing to just help you than I have seen JDM people. So I always carry a bunch of parts with me. If someone breaks something, I'll just give it to them. Or if they're at the house and they're like, dang, I need a driver's side valve cover gasket, I'm like, there should be one over there under all that. I grab that and they'll take it. You know what I mean? But it's not like, and I'm not saying that JDM people, JDM people. I'm not saying that JDM people aren't as caring. Your shit is more rare, and so like you're not just gonna give it away. Those valve covers, I can walk out to that trash truck I gave to my dad and pull a valve cover, and it would not be a big deal. So
I'd be lucky to find one.
Yeah,
under probably $400 fucking
creates a different culture. The other thing about LS things is it will, if you do LS, it will make you a sloppy mechanic. It will make you sloppy. There's just something about them. They'll just take a whooping and keep on ticking, and it just makes you really like.
I don't remember the last time he's torqued anything down.
That's not true. I did rods.
Really?
I did rod bolts. I did my rod bolts.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
That's the only important
Rod
one,
bolts, though. That's it.
That's it.
Anything else? Don't even worry about torque to spec. Just fucking.
It just depends on where you're at. Like, is it on a stand? Do you have one? All right. If you're at the track, you lift it ahead. No. Just fucking whack a that motherfucker. You know?
Especially if it's one of you guys that are just throwing a simple 5.3 in a fucking drift car.
Yeah, just don't do anything.
If it's just a simple LS, NA, nothing special, who fucking cares, dude? You could piss in the damn thing and it'll still work.
Yep.
Like,
that's the other thing is all these people will try and tell you on the internet, you can't do this, you can't do that. Oh, the sizing of this matters. Like, yeah, I
ran into that a lot looking at forums for the RB.
It's ridiculous,
because nothing out there shows any information on an RB into a 350Z. I found two people that had the same swap. One was an RB26 though, which is relatively the same shit, but the other one was a G35 that had an RB25 swap, and all of them didn't run the factory RB25 trans. So like almost any information they gave me was completely deemed useless. I had to completely figure out all of the logistics behind making an RB fit and work in the 350Z by myself.
Yeah, that's the other, I feel like, plus to being an LS person is that we all know that because there is the stigma that you're never going to do anything original. None of us care if you know what we're doing. So, so if you get on a forum, it's like, I'll tell you exactly what the pitfalls are of a TR6060 swap, or I'll tell you the exact pitfalls of buying an iron head 6-liter that came out of an old 2500 that had iron heads on it, and how the crank happens to be longer. So you'll have to crank swap that one if you want to run a manual transmission rather than go buy a custom flex plate. Dude, it's a mess. But that's the difference is that, for custom stuff like that, it gets a little bit more, you got to figure it out on your own. And circling back to what we said earlier, I don't want to figure anything out on my own. I just want to go race. I only care about Sundays. That's it. I don't care about anything else.
And on that topic again, that's why I'm a little different. I love to figure things out. So I'm a very kind of I've always explained it as a mechanical thinker. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I've always said that if you can learn the basics of anything, you can master the entirety of it. Like it's as simple as, because I've been in so many fields and never been to college. I've been framing houses, demolition work, drywall work, flooring, to body work, to sales in all different types of departments, to now I'm in charge of entirety of a social appearance for a dealership. So like being able to think and figure things out is kind of my thing, just in general. So the mechanical thinking is.
I used to say, if you could take it apart, you could probably put it back together. That's the way. That's my version of that, I guess.
If man made it, man can break it and rebuild it.
Will break it.
That too. Cheers. All right. Well, let's move on a little bit. So tell me about the best event you've ever been to. Not necessarily like the track or anything. It doesn't have to be that. It can be, but whatever.
The funnest event or the best? Like, I don't know. I guess it depends. Because, like
base it off of everything. So, like, how well you drove, how good the track felt, the weather conditions, the people that were there, the energy.
The Clarksville 2-day.
Clarksville 2-day. Those are normally really good.
It's just
almost any event.
Yeah, almost any Clarksville event, especially the 2 days, because everyone knows when you get your band, you're like, okay, we're gonna be here for a long fucking time. So everybody needs to get along,
And that's not even just like Clarksville, because like OSW, when they, especially the Black Friday weekend or whatever, that they do. Like, I think it's a 3 or 4 day long event. Dude, they get so insane out there. And that's one event that I want to make it to myself. Just to say I've been to before. But
That's
just
where
for any event or track, if they do more than one day, and like say you can sleep at the track or camp out, whatever, that makes the energy 10 times better.
It's way funner
no
that
matter
way.
what. So.
And I've only done that at Clarksville. Also, I've never done a 2-day anywhere else. It was just fun. Like, you go and you get to Airbnb, and then when you get there, you're like checking out the place and figuring out where everybody's gonna sleep, and everybody's drinking beer and having a good time. And then the next day,
There's something about staying in a hotel or somebody else's house on a weekend just to have fun.
Yeah.
It just makes it different. It feels so much different.
So that would probably be my favorite events that I've done. I guess my favorite track is probably Nashville Superspeedway.
I think that's everybody's favorite. Well, dude, I don't know. The clutch kickers, when they had it in Holt, Florida, it was the drag strip they converted. I got to drive that track, and that track was absolutely one of the best tracks I've ever driven.
Really?
For some reason, it's just so technical, but it's still fast at the same time because you got that first long sweeper, which is a huge flick into it.
Yeah.
But the only thing it doesn't have compared to the super speedway is just like high speed. Like it's 100-mile-per-hour entry at super speedway.
I think I did it at like my little GPS said 112, which probably meant I was going like 98.
Yeah, which I mean,
but
if obviously I was in a VQ car,
that
so
fast before. Not unless I was in Mexico. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I was in an open parking lot, and I was just in my car seeing what it would do, and then whatever I would do. The first time I did National Super Speedway, I was with my sister Hannah, and I upset the car, and the car started to go like this, and like I had one of those moments. Like you can find it on my Instagram. I almost pulled the brake. Like you can see, I was like, oh man, like we're flying, dude. And then I was just like, nah, I ain't scared. So I just smatted it, and Hannah goes, oh my god, and I was like in my head, I was like, me too, man. You know?
Oh my! Actually, speaking on that, so that's become like a running joke around here. So I saw it in what's his name? He just finished his LSC in Cosmic.
Brandon Rose.
Yeah,
He's
okay,
got
Brandon
a big
Rose.
sticker.
Yeah, he's got it on his dash. I saw it in one of his videos the other day, and I was like, I knew exactly where that came from. It was fucking neat.
Stop screaming! I'm scared too. That's funny.
So yeah, that's where that line came from. Was that story? Because that was obviously, like you just said, the first time he drove that layout, which I drove it in a VQ car. So in my Z when it was VQ, and it's extremely hard to make it around that sweeper. I mean, your fourth gear, banging limiter, all the way
You'd have to
around.
be like faint, right? You'd have to be like really like this.
Yeah, what I had to do was come all the way on the inside. I would have to come out towards the outside, like I'm facing literally
like you're gonna
the bank.
go up. Yeah.
Like literally I'm facing the bank, and then just flick it as hard as I could, which is more of a feint, but you're going fast as shit, so you gotta flick it really hard. And as soon as you're flicked or settled in transition, you just gotta mat it. Like that's all you can do, because if you don't, the Z's it doesn't have enough power to make it all the way around. Which I made it around twice, but I overshot it somehow.
Went too fast?
Yeah, I went too fast. And by the time, because it's a blind corner.
It's blind. It's blind as shit. He's right. You can't see through it.
It's a long sweeper into a hairpin.
Yeah.
So it's a long sweeper, then a 180 basically. So you don't see the turn at all. But luckily there's a road that goes off if you do go too, overboard. But yeah, I was half proud of myself because I did make it around, but I didn't.
I did it one time, the first time, and I landed it. Listen, that's my rollerblading
Back
years.
to skaters.
Yeah, I know. It's sorry, but I got all the way around, and I did it. And Hannah was like, "That was so good," like freaking out. And in my head, I was like, "Kid, you don't even know." Like we just almost died. We didn't, but in my head, I was like, "That was insane. I've never gone that fast before," Mm-hmm. And then the next time I go out, the back of the car is going like this. Right, and I'm like, dude, did I pop a tire or something? So I pull back around in the pits, and I'm like, are my tires flat? They're like, no. So I start to go out on grid again. I'm going to do the same run, and it's like, hopping up and down, dude. Okay, so when you're coming around the blind corner, you got to go like this, and your nose kind of needs to go over where the grass is. You kind of need to nose over the grass and then come down to the back of the hairpin. And I guess when I did that, out of sheer like fear, I just snatched the brake and just held it for like 200 yards. And like this is how I was so new to drifting. I didn't even know. It didn't even make sense in my head what I was doing. I just knew, my body just knew to pull that to keep the car at the same skid. So I get off thing and I've erasered the back of my wheels. That my wheels are now shaped. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't know that. So I'm like pulling back into the pits. It's going like this. I'm like, dude, I fucking broke this thing. What the fuck? You know? But that's what it was. Is that I had held the brake for like forever. It was crazy.
God, I feel that one. Yeah, that sweeper's no joke for sure. But let's move on a little bit here. So, what have you ever been in a wreck on track at all?
No, I've never crashed. No? I spun out in front of Tommy Coldwater, and he didn't almost hit me. I almost hit him because I spun. It wasn't his
Wait,
fault.
what does he drive again?
He had, at the time he had that supercharged 240 S13. Oh, dude, that thing
was it
sounded,
black?
No, it was white, and it sounded better than almost every girl I've ever
I know what
dated.
you're talking
Oh
about.
my God.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
I can find it. I'll put it in there somewhere.
Anyway, that was a really very cool car. But I was on. I brought, that was at the Clarksville 2-Day actually. So that's how you know it was a good event. I spun out, and I never spin, or I try to never spin. I've only spun a couple of times, and
it's hard when you have shopping cart angle.
Well, it's just some homemade shit. It ain't wise fab.
That's still a lot of fucking angle, bro.
Everybody else has wise fab, bro.
It's damn near as much as wise fab. I mean, you ain't too many degrees off.
Yeah, I think it's like 63. The Ackerman sucks though. It's only like,
yeah.
You know. But anyway, and then I've been in a crash, but I haven't crashed. I was with Ariel when she wiped her car out.
Oh, okay.
But it doesn't even wipe it out. We fixed it already. But yeah, bonk.
Which that's not so true for me. I've been in. Oh man, the fact that I even have to pause for a second is bad.
More than one?
Dude, it's way more than one.
Is it really?
Way more than one. I push hard on the track, bro. I love getting really close to the wall. I try to at least.
Need to extend those lowers.
They are extended with the super lock kit.
Oh, okay.
But no, I think I've been in probably I'd say 10 wrecks on track.
God damn.
On track alone. Yeah. So, okay. That sounds bad. That sounds really bad.
That's a lot. I'm not making fun of you. I just didn't know that. Oh, I'm gonna lead from now on. Just kidding.
Actually, that's fine. I need to learn
10?
to chase. But yeah, so the first one, I was learning, and it was my dumbass fault. So I had tried upgrading. At one point, there was these Brembo brakes on eBay. Now, I don't think they were real Brembos though, because they didn't have the logo on the back of the caliper, imprinted in casted in the metal. But I had bought two fronts just to convert the fronts over to Brembos, and had to replace the hard lines. And if you've never had to bleed the brakes from a dry system on a Z, it's fucking horrifying. There's absolutely no way to bleed the brake system if you get that much air in it without bench bleeding the master. I tried every fucking way, dude. Vacuum bleeder, had someone's foot on the pedal at the exact same time while using a vacuum bleeder. Had to eat the corners properly, all of it, and could not get it to. Same with the coolant on a Z. You have to jack the front end up. That's the only way to get it.
Wait till you see the way we have to bleed my coolant.
Yeah, but well, anyways, so. After I tried doing that, the brakes wouldn't fucking work. So I brought the car to the track anyways. I didn't have brakes. Like, they were squishy as fuck. I had to pump them a couple times before they would actually engage a little bit. And I tried fixing it, going out on track, didn't work. So I was like, fuck it. I brought the stock brakes back with me. So I literally threw them on track. And went back out, same fucking problem. That's when I realized bench bleed the master. It was good to go. But I hit Willie Culver, and he drove a 350Z at the time too. And completely, he spun in front of me, and I tried to lock up my handbrake and brake as much as I could because I was following him, and my rear end just kicked around and slapped his front bash bar with my quarter panel, and that was like, it dented my quarter panel in. I went back to the pits, beat it with a fucking 4-foot sledgehammer. It was good to go. Willie pulled his bash bar back out. He was fine too, and we literally got back out and drove. But that was the first wreck I had ever been in, and I think, God, I don't even remember like all of them, but I've hit the wall at Beach Bend probably 3 times on that sweeper running the LS Fest layout, because you're coming like 70 miles per hour into the sweeper. It's a bank sweeper, slight bank, but
Talking about the kidney bean layout.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I
Just
will
throwing
say
it right
I
at a
don't,
wall.
I don't try and do that, especially at that track. That's really slick right there.
Well, see, I like, obviously, like I said, I like to get try and get close to the wall. So I would risk it and just throw it straight at the wall. And sometimes the brakes would lock up or something. It slid right into it. I backed it into it multiple times.
there's a
Took out
video-
a Corvette once.
Yeah,
He parked it on track in front of me. Literally first lap, like first everything of DK comp at Clarksville. And this dude tells me, I feel something weird in the steering right before we go out. And I'm like, fuck. And he
Great.
chose to lead first for some fucking reason. I don't know why you
How
would
about
choose
the
to lead
vet?
first. Yeah, it was a red C5
Oh,
vet.
dude, the POV from my view when that happened was like, oh god,
Oh, dude.
he like disappeared around the edge of this thing, and I was like,
Yeah.
they didn't come back out, and all of a sudden you hear, I was like, ooh, I got my helmet on, I'm running, you know.
So I've never really explained this story on like what actually happened, but I was coming down the hill. He did a long e-brake pull. Like he slowed down a lot coming down that hill, and I had to rip the e-brake so that I didn't fucking slam into him right
Yeah.
there, and so that I could make it around the cone. But he ended up just plowing it over, and by the time I saw him plow it over, that's when I was like, okay, fuck it. I let off the e-brake and I clutch kicked, and as soon as I clutch kicked, that's when I saw him just park it in the middle of the track.
Oh, you
and
couldn't get it stopped.
I was fucking clutch kicking, bro. The car was going.
Yeah.
And it just darted. I hit the brakes, and it just locked up, slid right into like where his door met the quarter panel, and crippled the fucking car. Like he tried taking off, and it just went. It just fucking caved in. It was.
Yeah, that Corvette was messed up.
Yeah. We were good afterwards. We made up. We were cool. And actually, the last NSS event that I went to and spectated at, I saw it out there.
Oh, it still runs.
Dude
That's
got it
good.
fixed.
Oh,
And yeah, he's driving it again.
for
I don't know if he still owns it or if it's somebody else, but
Pretty sure that's a pretty passed around Corvette.
yeah.
I think it's like my ex-girlfriend.
No, he had like a 500 horsepower S13. I think it was a 2J car, something like that.
I love 2GCs. They sound
But-
so cool.
Oh yeah, JZ. 1J is actually my favorite motor.
Yeah. Well, for noise. I
Yeah.
think for power, I'd want the 3-liter. But yeah.
Yeah. I feel that. Well, let's see. So how did you get into drifting?
Well, I've played a simulator for like 7 years, and I have 2 brothers and a sister, and both of them are usually better at video games than me. I just don't have the attention span for it, you know. I just
Yeah.
sit there and like hone it, you know.
That's how I've always been. I don't even have a gaming console in my house. I
I
tried having
for
an
guests,
Xbox.
but I never could get into it. But one time we put a simulator together, and I played with my little brother, and he was so much faster than me.
He's a big. You're talking about Josh or
No, Caleb.
Caleb. Okay, yeah. Caleb's like really big into IT stuff. He's
He's like super,
genius,
and he's,
absolute genius.
yeah, and he's super good at video games. And I never could like beat him. I never could outrun him like road racing. And so I started like drifting because I saw it on YouTube, and then I did that for 5 years before I ever even got a
Holy
car.
shit! It was 5 years.
Yeah, it was like 2015 or something like that. You know,
Damn.
2015. And then about 2-3 years ago is when I actually started driving.
Yeah.
But that's how I got into it. Is I started drifting, and I was better at that. I was better at drifting on the sim than my brothers, and I was like, I'm gonna keep doing that. So that's how I got into it, kind of.
That's actually okay. So that's a good topic. I want to talk about that. So like the sim racing and like obviously I got started a little bit different. I was in the stance game. I'll admit, I hate admitting that now, but I had a 2016 Mazda 3 slammed on some MMRs or MRRs, whatever the fuck they're called. And I was out at an event with Brennan and Willie one time. They had just gotten started, and I was sitting in the passenger seat with Brennan all day. And by the time I was done, I was sitting there with my arms folded, just like, fuck this shit. I want to drive.
Yeah.
I could not stand it. I had never touched a sim. I'd never done anything that had to do with drifting other than go and watch a couple Pro-Am events. Or they were the East 10 events at the Nashville Speedway or the fairgrounds, whatever. And that was like my only taste of drifting that I ever had at the time. And literally, Brennan helped me that week find a Z car, which is the one I own now. Or
same rig.
Yeah, it's the one I own now. And I bought the car for dumb cheap. I'm not gonna say how much, just because it's like it wouldn't even make sense now. But but that's how I got started. I literally bought it the next weekend after that event that I was just riding along the entire day. And from there, it took me about a month or two to get it up and running because it had a blown motor. Came with a motor. That one had a rod knock. Had to buy another one. Blah blah blah. And that's kind of how I got into drifting. So I started off just pure driving.
Yeah.
And now I've driven your simulator.
School of Hard Knocks.
That's right.
That's way harder.
We do it in the South.
That's way harder.
Yeah, it is way harder. In my first event, I was very embarrassed at because I did not even know when or how you were supposed to pull the e-brake. So I was literally yanking the steering wheel, yanking the e-brake, and expecting something to happen. I did not even comprehend that you had to push the clutch in on my first couple laps. And then I did it on one lap, and I was like, what the fuck is wrong with me?
Yeah.
So I personally, if you go from real driving to a simulator, it does not translate whatsoever.
Simulators or at least for drifting, I can't speak for other stuff, but at least for drifting, a simulator for like a Seto, it's one of the few things in life that's a one-way street, man. It doesn't, it's not a double-edged sword where like, oh, well, you'll do this. Like, no, dude.
Especially with a Seto too, because they're more for like graphics than anything. It's not necessarily...
Seto?
Right? Isn't it?
No, a Seto is...
Which one is more, they care more about like the graphics of the cars? I don't know shit about this stuff. By the way.
If you hadn't asked me, I could tell you. It's like something something. You can play a simulator on it, and the smoke graphics are awesome. But it's just like it's not real.
Yeah.
You know. Which I'll be honest, I actually prefer if I'm just like trying to sit down and play like for 20, 30 minutes before I go to bed. Yeah. I actually prefer Forza Horizon on my sim just to drive around, just to get in a fast car that I could never afford and go drive around in the hills, you know? But anyways, a Seto is a one-way street, man. It doesn't go both ways. I know some of the best drivers out there who struggle to drive on a Seto, and I can get on a Seto and I can be fucked up and still
the first
drive.
time I drove your sim, I puked my fucking brains out.
Because
we had the whole VR setup and everything, and that was like one of maybe the third time I've ever even put a VR headset on. And dude, I drove it for about 5-10 minutes, and immediately straight to the bathroom, had to puke.
It's because. But I think it has something to do with your body is trying to react to what's going on, but it's not actually happening to your body. So your brain's just telling yourself what to do.
Confused.
It's all in your head, you know?
Yeah.
And I got a Microsoft Flight Simulator at my house, and I put the VR, or not flight, DC, I don't know, Caleb helped me set it up. It's a flying game. You fly planes, okay? And I played it for like 5 minutes. Now remember, I would consider myself a veteran VR sim racer. Like I've been doing it a really long time. I do it to just get away from the world. You lose track of time. It's awesome. Yeah. It's just a good time killer. Okay, I played this game for 8 minutes. I looked. Okay, and I did the little thing like Tom Cruise where I flew up the side of a mountain and turned upside down and flew down the other side. And I was like, that was badass. And then I got up and I was like, fuck, I'm about to puke. It made me sick. It made me sick for real. So it can get to you, but definitely I would say it should be used as a tool to learn how to drive because, I mean, you can find clips of my very first event. I didn't even spin out.
Yeah, and if like I was saying, if you're definitely coming from a sim to real driving, it translates a lot because you get the basics down. And like I was saying, my mechanical thinking, if you get to learn the basics of anything, you can learn all of it. So, and there's to say, like, if you do have one of those big baller simulators that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, whatever, I don't even know how much they cost, but those with the full on like movement and everything out of them, they like that can get real. It can feel extremely real with those type of simulators. And if you needed those for practicing just tandeming, just to keep yourself brushed up, I could see that helping. But if you're trying to brush yourself up and keep yourself like in the game without being in a car, having a simple simulator, I don't see that helping like at all. Because you only get every type of feeling you're getting out of the car is all through the wheel. Not even the pedals, not the shifter, nothing.
So you're saying, hold on. So you're saying that if you're just trying to get the basics, it's useful, but as far as for other stuff, it's not useful?
Correct. Yeah. So like if you're just trying to say it's off season, you're not, it's winter, you're not driving, you're just trying to stay like brushed up, keep your track time up, but you're doing it in a sim. Like you already know how to drive. Maybe you learned on the sim beforehand, started driving. Now you're just trying to keep your momentum going, basically.
Right.
I don't see if you have just a simple setup, a simple simulator with just the wheel, pedals, and shifter, handbrake, whatever. I don't see that helping at all. Just keeping you brushed up. Maybe like learning how your proximity works.
So
possibly, but
are you talking about with the VR or no VR?
VR, yeah. Even with the VR, I don't see it
VR
helping.
is so immersive that I would disagree completely with that personally. But I would say that even if you're just playing Forza 7 with the wheel and you have your fucking TV scooted really close, I think personally that helps because it doesn't really teach you, because it's a video game. And so there's no sense of, I keep forgetting to put this near me. There's no sense of really how close you are. Like in the video, in real life, right? You have a pretty good spatial awareness for where your car is and where you're at in the car. And so if you're up on somebody, in the car, you're like, fuck, we are really close, you know? Yeah. In a video game, one, there's no sense of responsibility. If you bash in someone's car, you're not thinking like, oh, I'm gonna have to pay for that, you know? Yeah. And there's no sense of fear. There's no sense of depth perception, so you don't get that. But the part about a sim that everyone, I feel like, misses, which is what I think that you're talking about, is your muscles remember stuff. Like, you ever seen like a bodybuilder? He gets all super buff and then he like intentionally makes himself fat and then he can immediately go back, right? It's a trick. I mean, it's not a trick. He's really doing that, but it's because your muscles remember stuff. It's called muscle memory. So your muscles remember stuff like that, and that's why they all make fun of me in the group, is because when I take off at the line, it's not even really me anymore. Like, it's me, but all I'm doing is thinking through it. My body's doing all it for me. I'm not thinking in my head, better pull the e-brake or I'm going to crash. it just happens. I just pull it because I think I'm going to crash, you know? Yeah. So I would disagree. I would say that if you have a simple simulator, even if you just have the wheel and the pedals and you want to go out and cut donuts in a parking lot in Forza 7, I would say that it would be worth your time, because you can sim for
like, you're saying to learn or
learn.
To learn, no doubt. But for the fact of like,
if you're like a
just
driver,
keeping up with your driving, I can't see that helping.
I'm saying what level though is what I mean. Like
say you're running. Say you're in Pro-Am. Say you're running Pro-Am. You're just off season. You're trying to keep yourself brushed up on your driving, just even a little bit, so that you can be prepared whenever you get back into the car. I feel like you have to have one of those insane simulators that gives you the G-force and everything with it, so that you can actually feel what the car is doing, to actually like, for it to actually translate for keeping you brushed up.
I don't know, man. I don't know, because I'm telling you, like, it's not.
I may be completely wrong.
The reason that a sim someone who starts new and someone who starts on a sim, it's like you're starting like this. The person who has experience on a sim is already ahead of the person that had to learn the hard way, which it's almost more admirable to learn the hard way. I don't mean it like it's a bragging thing, but then if you go to Pro-Am and you want to brush up on whatever, it doesn't teach you to drive. It teaches you like to think preemptively. And so there are whole servers on Assetto that you can go to, and all they do for 24/7 is run tandems all day, all night.
That is true.
That's all they do. And you can get in there and you can drive, and if you suck, they'll kick you. It's fucking brutal, man. But I'm telling you, it'll make you a better driver. It really will make you a better driver. So
I can see that possibly happening now.
I would say
they're with a little bit of that competitive edge.
Well, yeah, I mean, I just want more people to get into motorsports. Get into the whole EPA
drifting's
thing.
not big enough, and it should be.
sucks.
And that's like another reason why FD they can't broadcast it on TV, which I don't think they would ever want to put it on TV anyways, just because TV's dying.
Yeah,
but like that was the biggest thing for so long, was they're just not big enough. I mean, you watch one of their lives now, unless it's some big main event, they don't get more than what 40,000
I don't think is more than that
or something like that. I may be completely wrong too. I'm sure whenever it gets closer to Final Four and stuff like that, views go up a lot. But
probably. Has LZ run yet?
that's literally every other comment is that in FD now, which is absurd. LZ, you do great. But
no, yeah, I was not hating on LZ. I was just making a joke.
Your fans are a little cringy.
The other thing that I feel like happens with like the culture of drifting is that, like you were saying, you went with your friends and you went to like a Pro-Am event and you saw all these cars and you see like cars like mine and yours are now, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, there's no way I could ever do that, you know? There's no way I could either never do that or never afford that, both of which are not true. If you want to get into drifting, go buy a piece of crap rear-wheel drive car and go try. And you will find out really fast if you like it well enough to stick with it. And most of the people in drifting are so cool. They will literally, like if you came up to me in an event or him in an event, we would walk you through it, probably even ride with you and give you a ride.
You could ask almost anyone at an event and they will do it for you.
If you want to get into drifting, that is the only part where I would say car over sim. That would be the only time. Otherwise, if you wanted to learn to drift, get a sim. You want to actually get a car and start and eventually end up with a car like our cars, I would say you probably need to go buy probably a Mustang or a Z car if you can afford one now. I saw one the other day. It was just stickers. It's just stickers, dude. I looked at it. It's just stickers. And he wanted $17,000 for it. $17,000. I just sold my convertible 350Z.
What the fuck is wrong with you 240 motherfuckers?
No,
dude, your cars are not that cool. They're not that unique. Fuck off.
Yeah. Dude, it was a Z, and 240 people, you're just as bad about it, right? Like that's what I think I get flamed more for that now than I do for anything, because I just make fun of people.
240 Z's,
like $1,000 for brick headlights.
Fucking stupid.
It's crazy. That's so crazy. Who would do that? Or well, I mean, I guess there's people that'll do it, and that's why they keep charging those prices, by the way, guys. But it's just crazy. Anyways, go buy a cheap car, man. Go buy a cheap car and get into drifting. Car,
even if it's a fucking Miata, bro. Who cares?
Yeah.
Throw a turbo on it. We got our buddy James has a turbo Miata wide body.
His car
it's
rips.
One of the coolest fucking cars around here.
Yeah,
and
easily.
It slays, dude. Like for real.
Yeah, very cool.
It has a really short wheelbase. They're a little bit different to drive, but like they can get the job done.
You can always jump around if you get in it and it spins too much, you don't like it, or you're not fast enough on a wheel. Go trade it for a Mustang. You know, people do it. So.
Yep. If you want the cheat code for real, Mustang.
Probably the Mustang. Yeah, they are.
Or if you got the money for it, Corvette. That's the real ideal. That's probably like the go-to platform nowadays. If you have the money, obviously.
I don't know. I don't want y'all wrecking Corvettes. I like Corvettes.
Yeah. Fiberglass, all of it.
So what?
Dude, like,
Who cares?
okay,
You're
don't
fine.
get me wrong.
Dude,
I
your
love
hood is metal and
Corvettes.
your bumpers are plastic. What are you hating on fiberglass for? Who cares?
I hate fiberglass, dude. It sucks. It sucks to work on.
It does suck. It gets all over you. It's nasty. Have you seen? Did you see my hood?
Oh yeah, that thing's gnarly.
Oh, dude.
Like, cow hood. Made his own fucking cow for goddamn turbo.
I had help. It wasn't just
Well,
me.
yeah, he didn't do it, but
I helped, but it wasn't just me.
Keyword helped.
Yeah, I was helped. So, but yeah, dude, got it all over me. Went home. I was gonna take a shower. I didn't really know how gnarly I was covered in this shit, so I turned on the shower and I didn't use cold water and it was hot water, which opens your pores and makes it worse. Then you're in bed and your girlfriend's like, "You feel like a shark." It's fucking terrible, man. You know, or sandpaper. I can't remember.
yeah. Oh, that's how it was at the body shop when I worked there. It was come home. I'm sure most of you people out there know, but come home covered in Bondo. No matter how much you try and blow it off of you at the shop with one of those little.
Yeah, it's just all over you. Doesn't matter.
Dude, it's everywhere, and your snot is like completely white every time you blow your nose. Dude, you get headaches from hell. No, fiberglass sucks. Bondo sucks. Bodywork sucks. All of it.
My hood goes pretty hard though. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's true. I'm gonna have to make some vents in my hood. RBs don't stay cool. So, needs to breathe a little bit.
Dude, you should do fans like what Taylor Ray did on the Corvette.
It's not a bad idea.
That shit was cool.
Yeah. I got a spare like little 8-inch fan, I think.
Yeah, just put one of those on it and then run it out to one of your fenders and then cut some slats in it and bolt it on each side with a riv cert and run a thing up in there and suck out the heat that way.
It seems a little too ratchet for me. I might have to do it a little cleaner, but
Or whatever. Then just run it out where it's underneath the car.
okay, that's one thing. He will just slap anything together. I won't. I like things to be pretty, even if it's just in the engine bay, like or just simple stuff.
I just need it to do the thing.
Like-
It just needs to do the whoosh thing. I don't care about the rest of that shit. You're like, where are you gonna vent? Like, you're like, dude, think about what you're asking. You're like, I need to vent my hood. I'm like, oh, vent it out the fender. You're like,
No, dude,
don't
I
wanna-
saw this dude. Okay, Robbie Fiera. Do you know who that is on YouTube? He's from Canada, but anyways, he had this buddy he brought on to his channel and hired him on for a little bit. Dude ended up going back to his real job, but he had a G35 that they cut little slits in the hood on both sides and just bent them down and made it like their own vents, and it looked so fucking hard on the G for some reason.
Dude, Jesse,
I have no idea why.
Jesse Grimetree's got a hood that's like that.
Yeah, it looks like that. Yeah. I don't know. I think I'm gonna do that, but
All right, whatever. I just have a fan I'm trying to get rid of. It came off of a motorcycle. It's in my truck.
I'm sure I could probably find something to do with it, but I don't know.
I'm probably going to end up doing that, but behind my fuel cell. So when that cabin fills up with smoke, I just turn them on. It pulls all the smoke out once I'm stopped.
That'd be cool.
Maybe. Chris will have to wire it up.
Yeah, Chris is our go-to wire guy.
Sorry, Chris.
And he's color deficient too, which is a little sketchy.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Colorblind.
Is this
like color deficient is like barely colorblind, so
Is
he
this
gets
white
some colors
and
mixed.
pink, or is this white and blue?
Yes, he'll literally he'll be inside the car working, and then he'll call for Nate. He'll be like, Nate. Nate'll come fucking waddle around with his beer, and he'll be like, what? And he'll just be like, he'll be sitting there trying to, like, you know how grandmas do. Grandmas do. They get closer. I can't see. Yeah, like, what is that orange or red?
It's red.
And we're like, dude,
I will
you're
say,
wiring our fucking car.
I will say,
you know?
he's usually right though. He's like, I think
yeah,
this
he
is.
normally is.
He's
fucking
usually
great
right
at it somehow.
No, I'm saying he's usually right. He's like, is this white and purple or is this white and black? I think it's white and black. I'm like, it's white and black. He just like checks up because he's like, I think honestly because we bully him so much about it. Like he's like, I don't fucking know if I'm blind or not, you know? No, he's cool, dude. He made a harness for my car. It's all loomed and got little attachments, and there's little certs on the bottom of the cars where it attaches. It's like specific to my car. It's very cool.
Nice.
And it's all Deutsch connectors. See, I'm not just ratchet all the time.
That's good. That's
Dude,
good.
it's fucking fancy as
Twitch
fuck.
Connectors are nice. But, well, I guess it pretty much wraps up this one. Who do you want to try and get on? I figured we could probably get Jonathan Cash on.
You think so?
I think so. If we can squeeze some time out of him. I know he stays pretty busy. But
gonna say
since
Jake
he's so
Elliott.
close, you know.
I was gonna say Jake Elliott.
Jake Elliott, that would be a good one.
I could get Jake Elliott. I'm saying it now. I could.
Okay.
He would do that. I just offer him like a free nitrous kit or something. He'd do it.
I will go buy another microphone like tomorrow. If you can get Jake.
There you go.
Elliott.
Free nitrous, free microphone. And
Cheers.
I want some fucking
Look at that.
headphones. I didn't get headphones because I thought you weren't getting headphones. He got to wear headphones all the
Well,
time.
I gotta monitor the audio. Someone's got to do the job here. But yeah. Who else? I figured we'll have Brennan on. Brennan's kind of catching in.
Yeah, we'll
He's
do
catching
Wolverine.
some clout. Brennan's a good dude.
And he's about to have a baby.
Yeah, I never saw that one coming. That was fucking weird.
I don't know.
I never saw that one
Yeah,
coming.
he's pretty traditional.
Brennan's a very like monotone dude. Like he doesn't. I mean, unless he's drunk.
Yeah, I've been drunk and sober with him. He's pretty. I don't know.
I don't know.
To
he
me,
talks
Brennan,
like a robot.
he seems like but I think it's because he just really doesn't. You know, like sometimes when I talk, you know, I'm a car salesman, right? You gotta church it up a little bit, so you're not like just being like, "What is your social security number?" You know, you gotta like, you know, make it a conversation. Jesus, you
You
don't
gotta
want to
put
be
some
boring.
pizzazz in it.
Yeah, right. Okay, well, Brennan is not a car salesman, and so he's just very direct. You know, he just tells you exactly. Can you do this? No. You know, you're just like,
Yup.
okay.
And he will manhandle a fucking car, dude. Have you ever like legit just watched him work on a car? He may be a little better now, but
I helped him put his supercharger and heads back on his car, and he was just like me and you. We're just very
slap
different.
shit together.
No, he's very
No, not anymore.
ARP lube.
Oh, so he's changed. He's changed.
he's very careful.
Back when we were building, like getting that car going and just like building my car, dude, that angle grinder was his best fucking friend.
Oh, I love
He got
stuff.
a cordless DeWalt angle grinder from his, I think it was his girlfriend at the time, his wife now, obviously, but bought him one for like Christmas. Actually, it had to have been wife. I don't know. Bought him a cordless one, and ever since, dude, he took that thing everywhere.
Just took it with
Like
him
that
like it was
was
his
his
toy.
golden child fucking tool, dude.
That's
I
funny.
swear. And now I have one now too, and it's one of the best things ever. But if you don't have one, get a cordless angle grinder. It'll change your life.
Dude, we could do Jeff. Talk about Jeff's car.
Oh God, I'm not a fan of Jeff.
Oh no,
I will totally have him on.
dude, I know. We would just be a big argument fest.
Yeah,
You'd have to do one of those things. The camera
Jeff's
falls
very
over.
controversial.
Just cuts the feed.
Yeah. God, I hope he sees this. Honestly,
I don't think they
That'd be
watch.
funny.
I honestly don't think that they watch our stuff. I don't think
Nah, probably
I don't
not.
think so.
yeah. Who cares?
I don't care. Honestly, I just like making stuff. If it wasn't, I would just be going to bed right now. So
Yeah.
it's fun to me.
Yeah. I've always been a creative person, so I like to create things. But I guess we'll wrap that one up here.
Whoops.
You good?
Yeah, I spilled some on me.
Yeah, good timing. But yeah, that'll pretty much do it for this one. If you guys want to check us out, this is the first one. So every Sunday.
If you know somebody that you would think would want to be on the podcast for Circle of Drift,
Yes.
let us know.
Put it in the comments.
Yeah.
Shout them out. Tag them. Do whatever you got to do. But go ahead. Like this video. Hit the subscribe button. Let us know how we did. And let us know what else you want to see from us. See ya.
Hell yeah. I think that went pretty good.
Yeah. They went a lot smoother than I expected.